We're live and recording for a very exciting conversation with Sunil Joy. Sunil Joy is the head of content partnerships and sports with Starzplay. And he's joining us all the way from Dubai. Sunil's got a very exciting portfolio that he's going to explain to us about. Sunil, wonderful to see you today. And thank you so much for making the time.
You're welcome, and the pleasure is all mine. Hello, everybody.
Fantastic. Your voice is going across to the entire Vitrina community. We are close to about 150,000 people around the world, across 100 countries, within the entertainment supply chain. And our key sort of focus is to, have the spotlight shining on innovators, leaders, thought leaders, such as yourself, who are really creating the new reality for this industry, as this industry is going through this massive amount of transformation with all the forces of changes that are happening on the business, on the content, on the making of the content, and everything in between. Again, one of the key aspects that I wanted to sort of maybe start out with would be to sort of we have a way that we start, which is with an elevator pitch. So if you can, give an elevator pitch for Starzplay and the business in general, a little bit of a background also of the ownership and how the brand is how did the brand come about?
I think to start with, to give you an introduction, Starzplay is now the entertainment arm of eAnd. eAnd, which is previously known as Etisalat, and now it is basically known as, it's now in the market out there as eAnd, is probably one of the largest telcos in the region, and also among the top telcos of the world in terms of its reach. It is spread across 38 different countries and it's got about 250 million subscribers. So in terms of volume and scale, it's a very big platform. It's a very big operator as a telco. And what has emerged over the years is from the telco, the country has actually modified to become it, or transformed is the right word, has transformed to become a techco. And among the verticals that we saw the maximum amount of expansion in the last couple of years has been in entertainment. Starzplay is the entertainment arm of eAnd. Now, a little bit of background, I think, as a company, we talk about Etisalat, which is now eAnd. What we have seen on it during my tenure in the company, what I've seen is the transformation of wanting to stay ahead of the game all the time. So when there was satellite and there was a lot of people out there trying to get content across to consumers, eAnd realized that there is an opportunity, and then it set up a cable network in the region, which was one of the first cable TV networks. And then when distribution changed from satellite and towards internet, it then went on to lay down the fiber network, which was already there in place. And then using the fiber network, it launched an IPTV service, and then an OTT picked up momentum in the region. I think eAnd today owns one of the biggest and most successful OTT players in the region, regional players in the region, which is Starzplay. And at Starzplay, my job is about managing partnerships, and I also head the sports portfolio.
Fantastic. And again, both are very, very exciting aspects of the business, especially on the content side. Thanks for that background, Sunil. And again, I wanted to sort of, pivot into your own background. You've got a very rich and checkered career history. We go back a long way, almost 15 years. Maybe more, actually, a little bit more. And again, it was a pleasure reconnecting with you and look at you, meet you in this new avatar that you have. So give us a little bit about how you got here and your personal journey.
I joined eVision, which was the initial setup of the cable TV company that I mentioned. And I was in sales at that point of time, when everybody was used to free to air. In fact, this was a region, I think, where free to air was so predominantly strong. And one of the few places where you had premium Western entertainment free to air, which is still there. And I'm referring to the NBC channels. At that point of time, I joined as in sales at eVision. And then I went on to lead the sales team. Then at a later stage, went on to lead the product team at eVision. And from there, I think it was more of a transition from understanding the business and understanding the market to see what more value I can add. And then in my latest role is where I head the content. At one point of time, I was heading the whole of content for eVision. And now with the merger with Starzplay, I look after the portfolio that is mainly around sports and partnerships.
Understood. And then that's a fascinating journey. And I think it kind of covers all the key aspects, business, content, partnerships, and then of course entertainment and sports. I was curious also about the genesis of the brand. Etisalat has gone through a lot of these transformations, and if you can talk a little bit about the more recent history, especially relating to the merger as well. Give us a little bit of a sense of just the timeline and also what's changed in the overall composition of the company.
Okay, so if you going back in time, I think the cable television business or the entertainment arm of E and which was then at the Salat, it has completed close to 26 years now. And in the process, from being a cable operator, a company that was set up to distribute, aggregate and distribute content through set-top boxes over coax cables in the region, it went on to actually become an aggregator for the parent company itself. When Etisalat decided to, bundle together entertainment with telephony and broadband, which was a triple play service, and then it started also doing mobile bundling with, with the rollout of 5G, and when connectivity became, the core of what we were doing. Now, from that, I think when the opportunity came for us to get back into the D2C business, what we did is we went ahead and we had a minority stake in Starzplay, and then over the period of last 2 years, that was increased into a majority stake, and it was in towards the last quarter of 2025 that we actually completed to become a complete merged entity. And now Starzplay, which has got about 3 million subscribers in total, operates in the region in a hybrid model between VOD as in with AVOD and SVOD put together. So I think it's one of the few players that have actually managed to get the balance right, where we have content available on the platform outside of the paywall and behind the paywall as well. We do sports outside of the paywall, and some of the premium sports, we actually have, again, a very successful hybrid model, which we've tried and tested and built over the years. And that's what's happening right now at the stage.
Fascinating. And again, what's very peculiar about the Middle Eastern market is that it looks so different from a lot of other countries. Give us I mean, if you can paint a little bit of a landscape picture of how things are right now structured.
I think if I have to put it into a very simple format or explain it a bit in a simple way, I'd say that this is a place where we've got just about 200 nationalities living, especially in the United Arab Emirates. And as being a telco, we have a clear visibility on the number of people who are subscribers with us. So it is a country that needs to cater to a very diverse population that speaks different languages.